Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to this week's angel message. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Wasn't watching the time there. So welcome, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm just going to turn my phone off because I forgot that too. There we go. And welcome. It's Christmas Eve here in Australia. So happy Christmas to everybody and happy solstice, happy full moon, happy mega gateway shift that's going on right now. And it's a really exciting time, not just because it's Christmas, but because of these huge energetic shifts that we're going through at the moment. Hey Jess, welcome, and Phil and Tyler, lovely to see you here. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I happen to unplug my microphone. Hi Marcel, lovely to see you here. And Merry Christmas, everybody. So I've got some cards out for you today. I'm going to be doing a reading when a few more people come online. And Merry Christmas, Phil. Hi Joseph, thank you for being here. And but first I wanted to talk to you a little bit about alignment and this big shift that we're going through and the changes that you can make at this time. Hi Tyler, Zoe, happy Christmas Eve. Hi Robin, thanks for being here. And look, I would love you to put your questions in the comments today. If you want, I can make it a little bit of a longer session for us and we can discuss anything that's coming up for you. But I really wanted to, talk about change and alignment because I think it's really pertinent at the moment. It's really important. And for anyone who's on a spiritual path, there's this energy, it's not just about being sensitive. It's about being awake. It's about being spiritually aware. You can have sensitive people who absorb energy, who take everything personally, who are emotionally connected, but who aren't spiritually awake. And that isn't a judgment. It just means that they're on the path to that. They're just not there yet. And we are all in this together. So if you might be going through phases, which many people go through, and it's no shame in it, where you have times when you feel really awake and aware and switched on and connected with your angels, with the universe. You see the signs, synchronicities, you feel it, and then there's times when you feel like, where did it all go? Like it doesn't seem to be working for me anymore. And then the drama comes in or some kind of energy comes in that seems to be blocking you or seems to be holding you up, and you get really called into having to connect with the material world and the lower end of emotion and energy. And you should never judge yourself or another person for being in that position, because it's all part of growth and it's all part of being a human, because we're all in this together. We're all one. We are all connected to the divine light, but we are all actually, connected to one another as well. And so when one person works through their issues and is able to come to a place of awakening, you're actually shifting that energy for the planet. And you're particularly shifting that energy for your families and the people that are in your energetic vicinity. So people that are in your group, your peer group, your work colleagues, anybody that's in your life at the moment, but also for people past and present that are in your ancestral line. So whenever you heal something like a belief, a thought, a big pattern for you, you are also sending a ripple effect out into the world and down through your family line as well. Hey Jamie, Carolyn, welcome. Martin's here. Hi Martin. Rebecca is here, and Kerry, hi. So any healing that you do, and there's a lot of healing possible at this time, you're making a shift for other people too. So that's why it's really important that you don't judge other people. That person's not very spiritual, or that person's totally in their ego. It's okay to acknowledge that and discern, I want to hang out with that person because they feel more loving and kind and giving, but I don't feel like hanging out with those people because they tend to gossip a lot. That's okay. That's not judgment. That's discernment. That's wise. That's wisdom. Sometimes you might find yourself surrounded by certain people because you're learning something. And so again, it's not good to judge it. Hey, Leonie, lovely to see you here. It's not good to judge people because that darkens your own energy. It lowers your own vibe. Judgment is something that we're all learning to rid ourselves of, because miracles can't happen when we are in a state of judgment, when we're in a state of any kind of state of fear that isn't a state of grace. So a state of grace would be a state of non-judgment, forgiveness, releasing your own past, forgiving yourself, letting go of resentment. Any time that you're going through a healing, that's a miracle. That's a state of miracles, and you attract even more miracles into your life, which raise your vibration to a high level. So that's really what awakening is all about. And so, but if you go through a period of time where you go, oh, I've hit a bit of a wall and I don't feel very awake right now, or I'm not getting the signs and synchronicities, that can be just a sign that there is some work to do. There's something that might be an old pattern. It might be just something you've inherited through your family line that you now need to apply the energy of the angels, love, divine energy, grace to. So can you forgive? Can you be compassionate? Can you bring gratitude in? Can you go gently on yourself? What can you do to bring a state of grace? Can you surround the person and the situation with light? These are the tools that we've been given by divine spirit, by the angels, that allow us to transcend the challenges that are in front of us. And sometimes we need to walk away from those things and those people. And that sometimes makes it a lot easier too. So, sometimes that's the lesson, is like, don't go there. That's not a part of who you are anymore. That's not what you're aligned with. So in the last, goodness, I feel like I haven't been on this Facebook Live for a long time, but that's because I've been out to Uluru where there's no time. And it felt like I was there a month, but I was only there for 4 days. And while I was there, I was just called out there. I just had to go, and everything came together for me. So this year's been quite a tough year for me to travel because my beautiful boy Bear is getting older. Hi, Barbara. And Bear has been a bit harder for people to look after. So it's harder for me to leave him, and it's harder for carers, anybody that needs to look after him, because there's difficult things that we have to do. So I've decided pretty much this year that I wasn't going to go traveling much. But I was getting to the end of the year and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm feeling so called to go out to the desert. I'm really tired. I'm exhausted. I can feel that my energy levels need to come back up, that my voltage is a little bit low, and I was just craving it. So, but I kept thinking, I can't find a dog sitter. So I had to change that thought. I had to bring a state of grace. I had to change that thought. There is someone out there who's loving, caring, who's going to be able to look after my boy, who I can trust, and everything is going to be okay. The next morning, after saying that affirmation, I woke up and somebody's face came into my mind. So I thought, oh, what would be the chances? So I sent them a quick email. They were free for 5 days. So that person who's usually unavailable was free for that period just before Christmas, when I had been hoping to go away. So it all came together, everything aligned. All I needed to do was surrender it to the angels and put out an affirmation. And so this is what I'm talking about in this massive shift that we're going through right now, is that the more that we apply grace, the more that we bring our angel tools, the more that we start to change our thoughts and our beliefs, this energy acts even more quickly than it ever has before. And so this is a beautiful opportunity for all of us together to make a shift and to start to bring in more of the support, more of the energy, more of the material and emotional and spiritual things that we really want and need for our journeys. So this happened to come up for me, and I was aligned. So the tip is that if you want something, you've got to figure out what it is that you want. What change do you want to see? Hey, Karen. Hi, Stephanie. What change is it that you want to see in your life right now? Now, some things, they might not be available right now, but they might be available down the track. But we always have to remember that if we want to see a change, we have to make the change. we're the only ones that we've got control over. So Marcel was asking about, hey Carrie, tips for seeing family members, and I'll talk about that in a while. Hey Michelle. So these changes that we have to make come from within us, and then we'll see the change in the external world. We can't expect other people to change and then we'll be okay. So we've got to grasp that to start working with the angels and working with alignment with the universe. It's about getting into alignment. So always ask yourself, if I want peace at a family gathering, as Marcel's asking about tips for seeing family members that are a bit more difficult, what is it that I want? I want peace. I can't change the family members. Maybe they'll change, maybe they will one day, but at this point in time, I've got to change myself in order to align with what it is that I want. So start thinking about what can I do to bring more peace into my own life. Maybe it would be not to go to the family event. If you can't do that, maybe then you've got to start thinking in a peaceful way. And you've got to not judge those people. You've got to come from a place of peace and tell yourself, if I am in a situation where I feel criticized, judged, something negative happens that I determine as being toxic for me, then I'm going to remove myself from that situation. I'm going to go and do something that I enjoy, maybe read a book or watch a movie or go for a walk in nature, so that you're not putting yourself in that energy of tension and where you feel like you have to tolerate toxic behavior. If you sit there thinking, this person is toxic, I can't handle it, this is terrible, this person doesn't like me or I don't like them, then you're just you're lowering your energy to that level, and you're going to increase the level of resentment, fear, judgment, all those toxic emotions that you feel. It's also really great to visualize things going well, things going peacefully. Now, not coming from the perspective of wanting to change anybody outside of yourself, but coming from a point of view of, I want to see myself having a nice time. I want to see myself being joyful this holidays. I want to see myself being peaceful, or whatever it is that you want to bring in, and start to put that intention out and see the challenges that are coming up for you as being something that you can, maybe the divine has put that in front of you as you need to bring grace to it. You need to make a shift. You need to learn something from this so that it doesn't become explosive and something that you have to hang on to for a long time. You get a family gathering hangover from having to put up with people's energy. You make the shift inside. So you see this as, okay, if I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do it from a different angle. I'm going to do it from the perspective of knowing that I am a pure and clear channel of divine energy, that I'm surrounded by angels, that I can call on my spirit, but I can also stay in my power. So whenever we want to make a change in our lives, we've got to align with the change, and we've got to claim our own power and not feel like victims. Hey, Jenna over there in the UK. Hey, Robin. So we have to sit with our own power. So how can you get your power back? You can get your power back by stopping feeling like a victim. You can get your power back by deciding what it is, intentions you have. You can get your power back by refusing to try and change or try to control or try to make someone else be different than what they actually are being. Acceptance can be a great thing to do. And you can also take your power back by deciding that you don't have to do the things that everybody else expects you to do. It's, it's something that I've worked on, and it's something that is quite enlightening to realize that you can actually choose something that isn't what everybody else would choose for you, and be okay with them not being happy about that. And you can do that in a loving way too. So Robin says she's having some problems with relationship with her son, woke up feeling sad, and then thought about meditating and sending love. That's great, Robin. Any other tips? So you could, as I said before, look at this as, what is it calling for you? What is this situation calling on you for at this moment? Is it forgiveness? Is it pulling back? Maybe there is an energy of two people not listening to each other, and so that can be really frustrating. So maybe you've got to come back to, all right, I've got to give what I'm trying to get. And maybe it's about handing it over, surrendering it to the divine. You know, just literally imagining putting this whole situation, your son, your relationship with your son, everything that's been said and done, and imagining a huge basket in front of you with Archangel Michael holding that basket. And you can put that whole situation in the basket and say, I surrender this for the highest good, and I ask for guidance and intervention, but I'm taking my hands off it, and I'm just going to come from a place of peace and love. And go really, I'm hearing the words go gently, Robin, for you. I feel like being really gentle with yourself is really important, and not struggling. Hey, Kate. Hey, Lloyd. Thanks for being on board. So I hope that's helpful, Robin. And yeah, has anybody else got any questions about Christmas? It's a tough time for many people, especially for people who are sensitive. Hey, Carolyn, I see you slipped in there. It can be a really tough time. It's a really emotional time, and it isn't helped by the fact that we've had this huge full moon and the solstice and these energetic shifts that are taking place that have been really sort of, I think, moving us through our emotions. I really think I had a real clear vision the other day of enormous waves on the ocean, and you know, water is symbolic of emotional energy. And so we've got to be sure that we're coming from a really clear, true place, because sometimes other people cop what's really ours, which might be unresolved emotions from other situations that you're putting on somebody else, and you're making them at fault for something else, for what you're feeling. So if you're feeling particularly emotional, it's really easy to overreact to something that you're perceiving as being an attack, or perceiving as being a judgment towards who you are or what you've done in the past. And we have to remember that people are coming from their own pain. So if, you know, what we call toxic people are actually people with a lot of unresolved stuff who don't know what to do with it. They maybe aren't as aware and as far along the path as you, and they haven't done their work, and so they don't know what else to do except project that pain outwards. And people who we describe as toxic are often very defensive as well, so they're not able to receive things in the same way as you might if your heart was wide open. So you have to be very, very gentle with them, because they're not seeing it the way that you would see it. And so trying to convince another person who's in that state that they are wrong, or that they aren't seeing you the right way, or that it is often impossible, and will just create a bigger ball of drama than if you just step back and send love. Sometimes, you know, being on a spiritual path isn't easy whatsoever, but it's a call, you know, it's a call for more of us to be more awake and more aware, and to be more of the adult in the situation, which isn't always easy, and also to take care of ourselves, but at the same time to be a loving presence. And if you can bring that loving presence to what you do, it may not be wonderful. It may not be exactly the happy Christmas or the family gathering that you want it to be, but at least you're going to come out a little bit less scathed than if you go in and end up like a pincushion with all of that energy in your energy field, you know. So protecting your energy, and protecting your energy with a field of love, rather than it being like a barrier between you and other people, because that will put you into defensiveness. Hi Lucy, Merry Christmas to you too. Hi Yana and Kate. Yeah, the full moon has been very full on, and lots of people are saying that they haven't slept very well, which makes you even more emotional, right, when you haven't been sleeping. Yeah, so that energy of alignment is, what do you want to align with? What are your desires? Come back from what you don't want in your life to what does that mean that you actually want. So I don't want to be attacked by my unhappy relatives. Well, I want to have a peaceful time when I'm in this situation, or maybe I don't want to go at all. Whatever it is, align with that, and then call in your angels, and then start to think about the energies and the emotions and the presence that you want to hold. And that doesn't mean that everybody around you is going to magically change. It doesn't. It can mean that. But if you are holding that space for yourself, you're not doing it from a place of ego. You're not doing it from a place of I'm better than you, or I'm going to be looking down my nose and thinking how toxic and how bad your energy is, or I'm going to be, super spiritual and I'm noticing how unspiritual you are. You're not. If you do it from that place, then your vibration is dropping. Whether you call on all the angels and you know all the right words and the things to do, you're going to drop your energy anyway, because you're still coming from fear. So you come from that place of the divine. What would the divine do? What would the angels do in this situation? How can I best protect myself? Hey, Pam, Loretta, and Babette. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to pull you some cards, but I wanted to tell you a story that happened to me at Uluru, which was really cool and funny. So I've got a favorite place at Uluru, at Ayers Rock, as some people call it, which isn't its real name. It's Uluru. And it's called, it's the Muditjalu waterhole. And it's where I take, when we go out in May for the Angels at Uluru program, the clients that are there, we usually go there. We may go somewhere different next time, but it's a really sacred space. There's water there, there's trees, there's a shelter, there's a lot of rock art around, and there's a beautiful story about how that place was created from the traditional owners. And it's a place where there's a really heightened energy, and the sacredness of the place is really palpable. So I had the pleasure of being able to sit there for a really, really long time. There's a gorgeous bench. And because it was so hot out there, there wasn't as many tourists as usual, but it's not usually packed. So one or two people came and went, but I sat there and I was in a meditative state, had a wonderful time, releasing some energy and just really enjoying being in that space of feeling really whole, really whole. And somebody came along and sat beside me and had a chat. And this person, after a few moments, were like, wait a minute, you're here on your own. It's nearly Christmas. You're at Uluru. This is the 9th time you've been here. Like, they'd asked me all these questions, and you don't want to climb it. And I was like, no, I don't. I respect the Uluru people whose traditional lands we are on, and they request we don't climb it. So I think it's crazy anyway to want to climb it. So, and they said, you're weird. You're nuts. So I was like, okay, thank you. And left it at that. I didn't feel the need to say anything else. And they went on to have a conversation about how they and their mates were going to climb it, and it was getting closed shortly. And I was thinking, if I'm weird, I'm kind of happy with that, because I don't align with what it is that you guys are talking about. It just doesn't feel like me. And then about an hour and a half later, I was back at the same area. I'd come back to buy some art, and and a woman came off a bus, and she sat next to me, and she said, what are you doing here? And I told her, and she said, how many times have you been here? And I told her, and she says, you're weird. Why wouldn't you go on holiday somewhere else? And just got up and walked away. And I thought, well, again, thank you for the message. But I thought, how cool. Many years ago, I would have really been upset about that. I would have held on to that. It would have hurt me for, I would have been kind of going through my mind trying to think of things to say to this person and how I would justify myself. And I did not have that moment at all. I just felt completely at peace and really amused by it. And I just wanted to share that with you, because it's about, I think that's what it's all about. It's recognizing what you are and what you're not, and being able to let people have their opinions, because that's where they're coming from, and they might not, of course they don't enjoy the things that I enjoy. Nobody's going to enjoy the things that everybody enjoys. Like, it's not like you're going to have everybody pleased with what you do. But you don't have to take it on when someone is offensive or rude or comments on an opinion that is different from yours. You don't have to react. And if you don't react and you just breathe through it, it actually is meaningless, because what someone calls a negative thing could be a positive thing for you. And when I think back to 15 or so years ago when I started my business, and so many people did call me names about being an angel medium, about setting up a business in a rural town as a spiritual healer, and all of the names that I got called and all of the things that people said to me. And at the time it really hurt, and I really had to work through that. And I get that, because when you come out of the spiritual closet, it's hard, because in past lives it's been painful. It's almost meant death. And it's also very, very challenging to step away from the tribe and say this, I'm doing this, So if that's you, if you're going through something, or you're doing something that your family, your friends, your peers don't like, or maybe the general public don't think is wonderful, but it's loving, right? We're not talking about criminal behavior. We're talking about things that are in alignment for you, but they're not necessarily for the people around you. Stay strong with it. Know that you're being guided. Know that everything is going to be okay, and that it doesn't matter, that when people are challenged by what you do, that's their stuff, and it is absolutely nothing to do with you. And you don't have to justify, you don't have to apologize, you don't have to take it on, and you don't have to argue with it or defend it. You can just be with who you are and allow your life to lead you. And down the track, you'll realize that you'll have lots more people on your side than are against you, if you're coming from love. So I just wanted to share that with you and share my beautiful time at Uluru. Hey, Tracy. So let's pull some cards before I wrap it on any longer. Hey, Loretta. Oh, I think I said hello to you earlier. So any more questions about making a change, making a shift? I've got cards here from Archangel Michael. I've got the Healing with the Angels deck and the Ascended Masters deck for you. So let's see what the angels have to say to you for this Christmas week. Christmas already, hey? We've been saying it for the last 2 months. It's nearly Christmas, and now it's here. Beautiful. Okay, so from the Archangel Michael deck, this first card is absolutely perfect. Where we are right now is in a place of an energetic gateway. It's a new beginning and a fresh start. You have the ability to take a look at my reading that I put up on Instagram and Facebook last night, which was the Cosmic Gateway and the Miracles card. It's literally like walking through a energetic gateway where you're getting cleansed of the stuff that's been holding you back. So although this energy, this energy for this past week has been pretty full on, it's almost like as I was driving in the desert, I felt like I was going through pockets of different time and space. It was like 1 minute you're sort of flowing along, next minute you feel like you've lost all sense of time. That's exactly what's going on right now. We're going through all these different levels, and we have to let ourselves go with them, but we have to align our thoughts like I described earlier. So it's like you're going through something, and as each level that you go through, each time you make a decision which is for your highest good, but for the highest good of all, something that is loving, something about changing your thoughts, it's like you drop something that's been hanging off your back for a long time. It's like you're getting, it's like going through a car wash. You're getting scraped clean of stuff. You're changing your patterns. And this is going to bring miracles. I'm talking about new opportunities that you've been struggling towards for a long time. Feeling like, oh God, where's the person I'm meant to be with? Where's the money? Where's the opportunity? That's going to start appearing in front of you because you're letting go of the things that have been literally sabotaging you, making you invisible, holding you back for such a long time. So newness. So don't go into Christmas is such a wonderful test, because if you've got a pattern, it will come up, right? It'll come up, especially if you're around family, and especially if you've got hang-ups about Christmas. I've had hang-ups about Christmas for years, and I'm just not feeling it this year. It's a weirdness, an emptiness. It's gone. Let go of the pattern. Just choose a different way of thinking about it. That's all you have to do, and it'll go. Choose a different way of thinking about your relatives. Stop believing that you're a victim, and the pattern will just dissolve. It will just go pop like a balloon. I've talked about this already. It's time to leave an unhealthy situation. Why do you keep putting yourself through the unhealthy situations? Why are you waiting for another sign to show you that it's time to go? Why are you still holding on to your old resentments, to the insistence that nobody loves you, that you're unlovable, that you're unworthy? Why are you doing that? In what way is that serving you? And if you feel like you're getting some kind of secondary payout for that, your secondary payout is holding you back in such a big way. And yes, if you enjoy being a victim, keep going. But please, you have to know there's something different. There is a secondary payout for being a victim. You get a lot of attention, you get to suffer and roll around in the emotions. You get to tell people how terrible things were, and some people will give you attention for that. But that's not really living. And if you're doing this, it's time to let it go. Stop it. Stop it. That's channeled, that. Stop it. This one is lovely. It's perfect because the angels don't want you to feel guilt. That you know what your patterns are, you know where you are holding yourself back most of the time. If you don't, you need some healing, you need some therapy, you need to come see me. We can do a session. But in truth, and this is a high spiritual lesson, everyone's innocent in truth. Deep down within us is our soul. Our soul is pure light. It's unscathed by anything you've been through. It doesn't matter if it's been physical trauma, an emotional trauma, the worst abuse, the worst relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. Your soul is still whole. It's only your ego, your physical body, your emotional body that are damaged, and they can heal because at core you've got the soul, which will always heal you if you align with it. So you're innocent in truth, and so is everyone else. So this is a card about forgiveness, but it's also about recognizing that you don't need to sort of feel bad about yourself. All you need to do is heal. And the angels see you as your pure light. They don't see you as the mistakes you've made. So this is a sign for you to let go of all of those mistakes and to let go of all of the stuff that's holding you back. People that are struggling with healing are usually holding on to some shame or guilt. There's blame, and underneath blame there's usually shame, because on an unconscious level, we often blame ourselves for being in the situation that hurt us in the first place. So we have to let go of the blame, and then we can work on releasing the shame, and that's when the miracles happen. There's, for many of you, a big health healing happening. Have you been noticing a gain of weight recently, or a shift in your body feeling a little bit more heavy, perhaps even feeling a bit run down? So there's a healing happening. You can call on Hilarion and the Archangel Raphael to help you, but it's also about recognizing that as we go through these energetic shifts, sometimes our body is having trouble supporting us through that. And so we've got to support it with the good food and the exercise and getting out in nature. But also forgive yourself if your body's not doing the right thing at the moment. But it's all about getting your mind and your energy right, and then the physical will follow. But your nervous system has been through a lot. And so you need to address the emotions that are at the core of what's making you feel bad, and that will then help release your body. So weight gain sometimes related to too much cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which comes from too much trauma, and comfort eating, having negative thoughts and sadness, and sort of trying to eat your emotions. And here we have the answered prayer card. So I see this as saying your prayers are being answered, but I'm also seeing this as saying, please pray. So anytime you feel a little bit off, angels, help me. I'm ready. I'm ready to let go of all that I've been doing that's been holding me back. I'm ready to let go of my negative thoughts and emotions. I'm willing to release the resentment that is burning in my soul. I'm ready to let it go and to open to a higher level of love and truth. So Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. So that's your reading for this week, and there's quite a lot in that, but I think it's all really useful, and I love it so much. So thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting my pages and for my work and for being my clients and friends. I really do appreciate you. I'm wishing you all a wonderful Christmas, no matter what you're doing. Know that Spirit is always with you. You're never, ever abandoned, no matter what you're going through. That as we make our shifts through life, we're supported, we're applauded, we are surrounded constantly by the angelic realm. They never leave us, and they are always working for us on our behalf. And sometimes they're there working so hard for us, and they're just waiting for us to get it, to be open to what it is, to take that step, to use our tools that they have given us. And this year has been such an amazing blessing for me in so many ways. And most of that blessing has been meeting and knowing many of you. And, you know, I was thinking the other day about the people that have impacted me this year. And the people that have impacted me have been the ones that have shown me the most kindness, or I've seen being kind to others. And the ones that have taken courage and taken a leap of faith, pushed through their challenges, you know, gone to the angels for help. You know, some of the clients I've worked with this year have made enormous leaps in their life, and they've done it with heart and soul and humbleness, humility, and with this real place of being, you know, wanting to be in a state of love and peace. And I admire that. That just leaves me in awe. And because I know how difficult it is as well to shift. But once you make that decision, it becomes easier. So thank you so much. I'm sending you angel blessings. Have a beautiful day, Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, no matter what you're doing. And it doesn't, you know, in the bigger picture, what other people think of us is none of our business. And it's more about what's going on inside of us that's important. So I'm sending you lots of love, and know that you are surrounded with angels. Mwah! Angel blessings.